Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan, and I am here for a top 6 match in the PDPL, where we have Chaos Knight Rider versus El Flamingo. So, looking at the teams here, we've got a pretty interesting team from Chaos Knight Rider. We see the Leftovers Mudstale and a Life Orb on Suicune, along with Weakness Policy Dragapult, Air Balloon Magnezone, Uxie with an Aguav Berry, and a Focus Sash Salazzle. We don't actually have the visual from El Flamingo's team, but it looks like we're going to be seeing that Salazzle with the Uxie in front with the Magnezone Dragapult in the back. So we're going to have to wait to see what that Life Orb Suicune is until Game 2 and a potential Game 3. On El Flamingo's side, we've got the Celesteela, Rotom Heat, Tapu Bulu, Tauros, Liepard, and Seismitoad. Let's see. So, Chaos Knight Rider locked in pretty quickly. El Flamingo is taking his time here, but we are now locked in, and let's go ahead and hop on into this battle. Both have very solid trainer cards, as we already know. So we are in the top 6 of the PDPL. So this is the second round of the playoffs, where the 3 and 4 seeds will start playing. Chaos Knight Rider is the 4 seed, and El Flamingo was the 5 seed who won his first round matchup against Solanor. So we do see nothing weird on the Bulu. It is Grassy Surge. It is very much threatened by the Salazzle, though. And we do see that this is an Unburdened Liepard instead of a Prankster one, it appears, with Grassy Seed. Yeah, that Sludge Bomb straight into Bulu looks pretty safe. The only thing that could potentially be a downside there is a straight switch into Celesteela. Which, if Celesteela switches and Trick Room comes out, that could be an issue. A Yawn play into that slot would work well as well, so you could get the Sludge Bomb and Yawn into that slot for a Celesteela switch. But no, he's going to be going for the Flamethrower instead, which is going to also punish a potential Celesteela switch. I like that more, and then the Trick Room. Yes, this makes a lot more sense in my mind. Fake Out comes into the Salazzle. That checks out. And then, what do we see out of the Bulu? We see High Horsepower into the Salazzle. Salazzle's going to go down here. But Trick Room is going to go up, and I imagine the Magnezone is going to come out after this. I don't think he would set Trick Room and then send out a Dragapult. Yes, it is the Magnezone that is going to be coming on out. We do see that it's Air Balloon. We knew that already. But it's going to be maxing and then Steel Spiking likely... Oh, it's going to be Steel Spiking into the Liepard. It's a little bit surprising there. It might pick up the KO because we know that the Liepard isn't Sash. But a Broken Sash and then a High Horsepower seems very, very risky out of this Tapu Bulu in this Game 1. Do you see Big Magnezone? And do we see Big Bulu here, or is he just going to go for the Sash Break? Steel Spike comes on out, and Steel Spike's going to connect, do a substantial amount of damage, and it will be enough to take out the Liepard and go to +1 defense. The only thing this Bulu's going to have to threaten it is going to be that High Horsepower. But the Liepard going down might actually be good for a free switch-in. We do see Darkest Lariat come out instead into the Uxie, which will ignore that +1 defense boost and deal a significant amount of damage. Not enough for a 2-shot, though, unless that was a low roll. And Bulu's likely going to have to switch out here, but we'll see what switches on in first. I don't think it can be the Celesteela, but the Seismitoad makes a lot of sense here. He still needs to break the Air Balloon on that Magnezone before he can do anything very effective with this Seismitoad. But Big Seismitoad makes sense, especially if it's got a Lumberry. Yawn is going to come out into the Seismitoad here. And we do see the Bulu will be switching out so it doesn't fall asleep. Celesteela comes in, and there's just going to be so much Yawn pressure in this game. Seismitoad will protect, never mind. There will not be so much Yawn pressure in this game. A Steel Spike's going to come on out into the Celesteela. I don't imagine that's going to be doing too much here. And then it's also threatening a switch back into the Bulu to waste that last turn of Max. If I'm Chaos Knight Rider, I think I might be Steel Spiking the Celesteela slot instead of Max Lightning in it. Although seeing that it's leftovers, maybe not. But I think you have to respect the switch back into Bulu to stall out Max here. And you just go for another Steel Spike. You could also go for the Lightning, which would do a little bit to that Bulu, but let's see what he ends up going for here. He's back and forth between the two of them. Going up to +3 defense is also going to be very solid. And he's going for the Steel Spike into the Seismitoad. I'm not sure if I completely agree with that play. I feel like you need to go into the Celesteela slot, and then you just yawn the Seismitoad, but a double up into that slot knowing that it protected last turn. Yeah, Steel Spike into the Celesteela would have been huge there. But a Steel Spike will come on out, and it does connect with the Seismitoad, and does about 40% to it, so that's not horrible damage. Got +3 defense on this Magnezone now. Shadow Ball's going to come on out. Is it going to be enough? No, not even close. Does get the special defense drop, but now the air balloon has been broken. And we are in a level of danger for this Magnezone at this point. We know that there are going to be ground type moves on both of these Pokemon, which are going to have the potential to definitely hurt this Magnezone, even at +3 defense. And I believe this is the last turn of Trick Room as well. Do you see that Ally Switch on the Magnezone? A Pokemon that should not have access to Ally Switch. Is he going to call the Celesteela Switch back in? That would be a call. It's a call that he could make. No, he's just going to go for the Flash Cannon. And then Shadow Ball into the Seismitoad after the special defense drop might actually be enough. But the Seismitoad will protect, so it will have at least one turn. Flash Cannon comes on out. And the Bulu takes a substantial amount. Darkest Lariat comes on into this Uxie. It's not going to be enough for the KO. Just not quite. It did exactly the same amount of damage. Uxie will proc its berry, but it's now in Darkest Lariat range as Trick Room ends. But we do know that there's a Dragapult in the back, so the speed advantage late game, even with this setup, is still going to go to Chaos Knight Rider with that Pult in the back. Pult might have some issues soloing the Celesteela in the back, though, without the help of this Magnezone. So it's going to take a lot of positioning on both sides to try to get into a advantageous position with one of these Pokemon. Going for Flash Cannon and the Seismitoad, that's probably enough for a KO. But there could also be a Ground-type double up into the Magnezone here, and then Celesteela in the back looks like a tough matchup for that Dragapult. But I do think with ground moves, it would still have to be a double up into this Magnezone, given that it is at +3 defense currently. And we see that both of Chaos Knight Rider's Pokemon have Ally Switch on the field right now. But we're going to be going for another Trick Room with the Uxie? No, we're going to be going for that Ally Switch to prevent double ups. Is the Ally Switch going to be called? Chaos Knight Rider has been running it very, very frequently this season on Uxie and Magnezone. Will it be called? This would be a huge call if it is, but it seems so difficult to make the first time at least. Ally Switch comes on out. Max Quake, no, it goes into the Uxie with the Levitate. And Darkest Lariat's going to go into this Magnezone. It will do a decent amount because it will ignore the defense boosts. But the Flash Cannon's going to come on out. But it will not be enough since this is a Max Seismitoad at this point. So Seismitoad is able to survive, and now he knows about the Ally Switch. But now he has to play some mind games. Will he be calling another Ally Switch in this situation? Shadow Ball will be enough to take it out, and a Flash Cannon into Tapu Bulu would set up a favorable position if both of these Pokemon are able to survive. A wrong call with an ally switch or a lack thereof could cost El Flamingo this game. I'd say he's in a slightly advantageous position, but we cannot forget that Dragapult in the back is going to be a substantial threat. Bulu's coming back. Steela comes on out, and Steela will get a turn of leftovers healing here. Magnezone protects, and what is this Seismitoad going to do? He does Max Quake into the Protect of a +3 defense Seismitoad. This is going to do much less than you'd think. Yeah, Magnezone will be surviving, and this Seismitoad will be going down here. But now the Magnezone might be in Darkest Lariat range, so Darkest Lariat is going to threaten every Pokemon on the field, and there is going to be a potential... Oh no, he went for Yawn, not Shadow Ball. As soon as the Tapu Bulu gets on out, Darkest Lariat's going to threaten almost everything on the field. Here you have to assume that Seismitoad goes down. Setting the Trick Room with the Dragapult in the back. I really hope I saw correctly and Dragapult's in the back. I'm going to feel foolish if it's not the actual back Pokemon. He hasn't looked at his Pokemon list in a while. Trick Room Ally Switch. No. We're going to be seeing... An interesting thing, if you look at the time spent in this battle, El Flamingo is up 2 minutes on the clock. That's not going to really come into effect much in these doubles matches. But it is interesting to see how quickly El Flamingo is locking in to his moves here. Geyser comes on out. Is this going to be enough? Into the Uxie. No, it's not going to be enough into that Uxie with +3 defense. He does give himself a speed boost, though. For as long as it's going to stay alive. Shadow Ball comes into the Celesteela. Is this a double up into Celesteela? Shadow Ball's not doing much there at all. Thunderbolt might be enough to take it out, though. No, this is an incredibly bulky Celesteela. But the Steela gets paralyzed. Leech Seed comes on out into the Magnezone, and it is going to be that stall endgame Celesteela set. I'm not so sure about that in the face of a Magnezone, but we will see if it's enough. This paralysis is really going to put a hamper on those plans. But Seismitoad lives another turn, only to fall asleep. An Earthquake here out of Seismitoad would be huge, but now... with this Celesteela paralyzed, I think the tide of this battle is shifting in Chaos Knight Rider's favor. The Shadow Ball is going to be enough to take out this Seismitoad while it's asleep, and it might even be enough to take out the Bulu if that comes on in. So I think you need to let the Seismitoad go down here. And it is that Dragapult in the back with the Dragon Darts that is going to get that clean switch in. He's going to be giving up the +3 defense on the Magnezone, but we'll see what this Celesteela goes for. I don't think there's anything the Celesteela has that is going to significantly threaten this Dragapult, and he is going to get that switch in barely in time. A Leech Seed into that slot could set up for an interestingly competitive endgame, but no, he just goes for a Protect. He will let the Seismitoad go down, and Dragapult is going to have some issues dealing with this Seismitoad, or with the Tapu Bulu looking at its moveset there. Bulu might be able to launch an attack at the Dragapult, but again, he's got to play these Ally Switch mind games, and the Dragapult also could have Ally Switch. We see the Bulu come on out and Grassy Surge. Alright, so what are we going to see here? I imagine a Shadow Ball into the Bulu. That might be enough to take it out. I'm not sure at this range. But Acrobatics, that will be enough. Acrobatics plus Shadow Ball into this Bulu is going to be enough. even just the acrobatics. And now the Shadow Ball is going to go into the Celesteela, and this is looking like a very solid game one for Chaos Knight Rider at this point. Special defense drops, and it gets the full para. He can't even try to set up the Leech Seeds. Phantom Force is looking like the cleanest way to clean up this game. That Paralysis really hurt the Celesteela, but I don't think that this is the set for the Celesteela. It's going to be able to 3v1, including against a Magnezone. So let's just watch this game wrap up, and we're going to see how Elflamingo is going to adjust for Game 2. But this Celesteela is going to live for a substantial amount of time. Still, it's just not going to have the output to kill all these Pokemon, because eventually it will get these special defense drops. Oh, and he gets another full para. Man, this is a lot at the end of this game here. We'll continue to slowly heal, but it's just not going to be enough in the face of consistent Shadow Balls trying to drop its special defense. He needs to take out the Uxie, and he's just not able to do it. Phantom Force does a lot. This Shadow Ball with the drop might be enough. Not quite, but the Celesteela gets full parried for a third turn in the row. Not that there was anything that could have happened that turn that would have put the game in his favor, but you know, 2 of those 3 turns he'd gotten Leech Seeds out. Maybe there's a chance that he's in this game still, but not like that. So this is just Phantom Force, Dragon Darts, and this game is going to end. And we will be right back around for a game number 2. We just got to let the Celesteela finally die. That will do it. Perfect, and we will be right back onto the screen selection for Game 2 to see how the coaches will adjust to these rather interesting leads and teams. Alright, so Game 2. If I'm Elflamingo, I think I'm pivoting away from that Celesteela. I just think there's too many things that line up decently well into it. That ally switch in Game 1 was really clutch for Chaos Knight Rider. And we do know that the Uxie and the Magnezone both have access to it, although he's only revealed it on the Uxie so far. I really want to see the Suicune set, so this is disappointing. Wait, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Is he going to do it? He's going to do it. Oh man, he's just hovering it. He clicked enter. Does he lock it in with the Suicune? Lock it in. Please. He's thinking about it. Yes, and we do get the Suicune. Yes, this is going to be a very interesting game. Snickerdee versus Emily, otherwise known as Elflamingo versus Chaos Knight Rider. And we are heading into it. That first game was a massive affair, and now we are into Bulu Liepard lead against a Salazzle Uxie. So this Liepard is going to have the fastest fake out. This is pretty similar to last game, except that there is no Magnezone that can come in, which Magnezone wouldn't want to switch into that slot. Do we think the Uxie potentially goes for an ally switch here to protect the Salazzle? Flamethrower the Bulu and then click ally switch? No, he's going for a hard Trick Room. You can only fake out one of these. And fake out goes into the Salazzle. Gets a crit. Probably doesn't matter, assuming that this high horsepower connects. Yep, and then he will be operating under Trick Room with this super fast Liepard and this Bulu in front of what I imagine is going to be this Life Orb Suicune, which is going to max and use some ice moves. It doesn't have ice moves. It's got a flying type move. It doesn't want to do that under Trick Room. Is it just going to stay small and go with late game Dragapult? Entirely possible. Geyser is going to come on out into the Liepard, And I don't think we'll see any airstreams out of this Suicune because... Man, this seems like a really bad position for Chaos Knight Rider in this game. He's got to play some ally switch games because this Bulu can just start launching grass-type attacks into this Suicune with impunity because there is no Ice Beam and he doesn't want to be using an airstream because he set the Trick Room. It looks like he is going to click the ally switch button. Will he call it? If the ally switch gets called, this is going to be a massive, massive attack from this Tapu Bulu. Even if ally switch doesn't get called, this is going to be a huge attack. Sorry if some frames dropped there. I'm not sure if it was me or the source video. But we do have Big Suicune and Big Bulu. Normally, I'd say Big Bulu's at a disadvantage in a lot of matchups, but this one I think Big Bulu's gotta be favored. Goes for the ally switch. Does the ally switch get called, or is it just going to be a massive attack into this Uxie? Overgrowth comes on out into the Uxie. It does 50% though. Geyser's going to come on out, set rain, and we're going to be in a very similar position because I don't know if this Liepard dying is going to move the needle that much. But now this Uxie is going to be able to yawn. I think the play is going to be Overgrowth into the Uxie slot again to prevent it from yawning. Or Uxie's probably slower than Tapu Bulu. Maybe you Overgrowth the Suicune, but then a Max Guard and a yawn feels bad. This is going to be an interesting position. I still think El Flamingo's offensive pressure is looking really nice. But another ally switch, yeah, I think Yawn and Max Guard here makes a lot of sense. So maybe the play is Overgrowth into the Uxie spot, but he is going to be going for this Max Geyser again, it looks like. This is risky. Will we see an Overgrowth? Is he going to call the ally switch this turn? We see a Heavy Slam come out from the Celesteela first into the Uxie. Is that going to be enough to take it out? No, not quite. And it does proc the berry, and it will get Yawn off at this point. It actually has more HP than when it started the turn. The Overgrowth is going to come out. The Bulu is slower than the Uxie, but it goes into the Suicune. But it is enough just for a clean KO with a crit. I don't know if that crit mattered. I have no idea about Max Bulu into Max Suicune calcs on Grassy Terrain, but I do feel like El Flamingo deserved a little bit of RNG after getting triple parried at the end of the last game, even if that likely didn't affect the outcome of the game. The Dragapult's going to come on out now. You have to imagine this Bulu's going to preserve itself, but it could be going for one more massive attack and then relying on whatever he has in the back for late game against a Dragapult. Will this Uxie be ally switching again? He's considering it, and he is going to be going for the ally switch and what I imagine to be a protect. Okay, so he's playing very defensively this turn. Is El Flamingo going to be able to call the ally switch this time? Dragapult goes for the protect. Here's the ally switch. And he did leave in the Bulu, so he's planning on getting one more KO, or at least one more thing of massive damage with this. And an Iron Defense comes on out for the Celesteela. He might be putting a lock on this game because this Dragapult is not going to break the Steela at this point. And a Max Darkness comes on out into the Dragapult slot through Protect. So it is he is still going to have the Uxie on the field. So he could go for Shadow Ball drops, but this is looking very, very solid for El Flamingo because there's not going to be a way to break it, except that he just activated a Dragapult's weakness policy. So the Iron Defense is going to be counteracted. He's probably going to need to go for one more from these Phantom Forces. Tapu Bulu gets small and falls asleep. Did the ally switches put El Flamingo or Chaos Knight Rider in position to win this game? He's not completely dead, which is better than I thought he'd be at this point. And because the weakness policy got proc, this is going to be a massive acrobatics into that slot. I think you just have to let this Bulu go down because you know that acrobatics is there. You can't let something come out and eat the Acrobatics because the Celesteela is going to get the Leech Seed up. Bulu stays asleep. This Acrobatics clean KO. Celesteela is going to get yawned. Acrobatics comes on out. Bulu goes down. Steela is going to be falling asleep. But is this Steela too far set up for these two Pokemon to be able to take it out? I actually don't know the answer to it at this point. This is going to be a slow endgame here, and we do have the Rotom coming on out here. The Dragon Darts could just take out... No, it's not going to take out the Rotom because one will go into that +2 defense Celesteela. And then Rotom should be able to launch one attack before the Dragon Bolt takes it out next turn. Do you see this Uxie? Will it be going for another Yawn? Will it be going for... It'll be going for the Shadow Ball, trying to get some defense, special defense drops into the Celesteela. What is Steela going to do? Dragapult gets the Dragon Darts off. One will go into the Rotom, do massive damage. One will go into the Celesteela, do minuscule damage. And the Rotom has access to Dark Pulse. And is that going to be enough to take out this Uxie? It is! So now this Dragon Ball has to try to 1v1 the Celesteela. Does he just go for another Iron Defense? He did. This is going to be a bulky Celesteela at the end of this game. And this Dragapult is just going to be getting chipped down slowly. He has to go for Dragon Darts again. I guess he could go for Phantom Force here and leave the Rotom on the field, but this is looking like it's going to be El Flamingo's late game with the Celesteela. I was wrong. Pivoting off the Celesteela was not the play for this game too. Celesteela falls asleep, but what can this Dragapult do at this point to break through this absolute monster? He's got to go for Dragon Darts, take out the Rotom, do some chip to the Steela, but that's just another turn of Leech Seed and a turn of Sleep Burned. If this Steela wakes up and Heavy Slams to accelerate this process, this is going to be game over. So Steela will sleep through this first turn. Dragapult will start going for Phantom Forces, and Steela will just be clicking Heavy Slam. I believe if one Heavy Slam connects, it's going to be game over. If only Phantom Force connects and there's a crit in there, a crit will give Chaos Knight Rider the set, and will get the game and the match. But we do see the Leech Seed healing the Steela to full again. This endgame is going to... It's going to take a hot minute, so we're just going to stay here through all of it. He's got to click Phantom Force. He's thinking about Acrobatics. I don't think Acrobatics is the play. I think you go for Phantom Force here. Because even though you're theoretically burning a turn of sleep, if it wakes up this turn, you need to be banished. Because your play is a crit on a Phantom Force. Yes. He goes for another Iron Defense. Calling a potential Phantom Force. Alright, so if Dragapult crits here, then Chaos Knight Rider, I believe, will win with a +2 Dragapult crit. If it is not a crit, we're going to be going into a Game 3 with a Heavy Slam connecting. Phantom Force comes on out. It deals not crit damage. It did not crit. And then we have a Heavy Slam coming out, and this is going to wrap up this game. Alright, we're going to be moving into a Game 3 of a very defensive matchup against two players playing very defensively. I don't believe we'll see the Suicune again, which is sad because I really liked that set. But I will be right back around for game number 3. It is Game 3 to see who will move on to play against Snoot in the semifinals on this side of the bracket. Chaos Knight Rider and El Flamingo. We are going to see that Salazzle Uxie lead again, and he is going to be bringing the Magnezone back. But he might be leaving the Dragapult on the bench this time for something that he thinks can more reasonably deal with the Celesteela, which might be the Suicune in this position. So we are going to see the Dragapult and the Mudsdale on the bench. Mudsdale will not be making an appearance this game. Suicune is going to be coming on out. Never mind, Suicune is not coming back out. Will we see the Mudsdale? We are going to see the Mudsdale. It's also a leftover set. We could be in for a long one, folks. And the battle is beginning. El Flamingo versus KS Knight Rider. Sword versus Shield. So I'm not sure if I'm going to lead the same thing if I'm El Flamingo, but he does go for it one more time, and we are going to be seeing that same Salazzle Uxie lead. Are we going to be seeing the same play? Trick Room, a dead Salazzle and a Trick Room? It would not shock me here. Grassy Seed comes on out. Liepard is going to still be the fastest thing. Trick Room here, and then a Steel Spike into one of these slots next turn. It makes a lot of sense. But no, he's going to hard swap into the Mudsdale, calling the same exact play. If he goes for the Fake Out and the High Horsepower and Trick Room, and Mudsdale comes out under Trick Room with what will be 2 defense boosts, this is going to be a tough game for El Flamingo to break through. Swaps it in, and does he set Trick Room here? He can't go for the Ally Switch. He has to set Trick Room here, right? No, he's going to just go for a Yawn. He's going to play it with slow Mudsdale, saying, "You can't break me, Tapu Bulu. What do you think you're doing, fool?" There's a stamina boost. I would say if this was under Trick Room, I'd feel great about this. But the Yawn is going to come on out into the Bulu. And he just goes for the Darkest Lariat straight into the Uxie. This Mudsdale only gets 1 stamina boost. This is probably for the best because it is going to heal right back up to full. But now Mudsdale can protect Trick Room seems really safe here. We've not seen anything else on this Liepard set. It will get to launch another move here, but Protect Trick Room seems safe. He could just go for a move here, but I would not want to risk a potential Grass-type move coming into this Mudsdale, because that is the one thing that has the potential to take it out before it gets fully set up. But he's just going to go for a Rock Slide. He's calling that the Bulu's going to switch out. Bulu staying in and going for a Grass-type move would be a huge play, but it's also incredibly risky. He might want to preserve Bulu without sleep. And Trick Room is just going to go up here, unless this Liepard has a way to stop it. Bulu goes back. Steela comes on out. Liepard goes for the Screech, and Mudsdale is at -1 defense. We now see what else is on that Liepard set, and Screech makes a lot of sense. Rock Slide comes out. It's not going to do that much into either of these because Liepard is at +1 defense, and that Celesteela is that Celesteela set. We're operating under Trick Room now. And this endgame is going to be curious because we have leftovers. We've got grassy terrain. We've got bulky Pokemon. We've got a high horsepower coming into this Liepard, and this Celesteela will be likely setting up a Leech Seed. No, the Liepard's going to switch on out. What's going to eat the high horsepower? Bulu's going to eat that decently well. Yeah. And then the Celesteela just sets up an Iron Defense in the face, saying, "I don't care if I sleep, I'm not dying." Yawn comes into the Steela slot. But now we've got a very, very threatening looking Bulu. A Max Darkness off this Bulu into the Uxie slot is the play that I'd be strongly considering here. Maybe a Max Grass if I thought that would kill. The Max Grass might actually kill, which could be a good play here. Uxie, we know that the Bulu is slower than it under Trick Room. And I believe this Bulu will have to max this turn. But he should attack into this Uxie slot. Max Darkness if that's the only thing that kills, but if Max Grass kills, you go for that in case of an ally switch. But will we be seeing a Steel Spike come on out? No, we're just going to see straight Heavy Slam. Yawn into the Bulu slot makes sense. this Bulu needs to be going for a max move into the Uxie slot, and we are going to be seeing a max Bulu. Does the Bulu take out the Uxie here with either a Darkness or an Overgrowth? He needs to take out this Uxie. Heavy Slam comes out. It doesn't do anything. This is worst case scenario if the Uxie goes down. This could be El Flamingo's game here. And the Overgrowth comes on out. Does it target the Uxie? It does. Does Uxie go down? It does. El Flamingo looks like he is in a very strong position this game, but we have to remember, there is still going to be this Magnezone in the back, which is going to deal a lot of damage into this Bulu, and we've got a max threat on this Mudsdale too. But blanking a Heavy Slam is a huge play there. I'm really surprised that he went for the Heavy Slam into the Bulu. In my mind, the Max Bulu made so much sense out of El Flamingo there. I'm surprised Chaos Knight Rider went for that play. But he has the Salazzle completely full in the back, and it's got the Focus Sash, so it will be able to take out this Bulu late game as well. There is no way to break the Air Balloon on the Magnezone and kill it this turn. Is he just going to let the Magnezone max, or is he going to go for the Mudsdale, or is he going to go into this Magnezone to try and break its Air Balloon? Max Lightning is going to come on out into the Celesteela, trying to get rid of this potential late-game nuisance. Do we see a Darkness into this Magnezone slot? That seems like the best play here. Otherwise, this game might be shifting back in in Chaos Knight Rider's favor. We do see the Max Magnezone coming on out. I think he needs to be going to break this. But even with the Salazzle out, I don't think it matters. I think that the Sludge Bomb pressure from this Salazzle is going to be too much, even if he does break it here. Liepard is still in the back, and Celesteela doesn't go down. I think maybe Celesteela going down there is actually preferable for El Flamingo, because if the Celesteela had it has Max Knuckle. It did not show this at all, but a Max Knuckle is going to break it and give you a lot of threat here. But without that Liepard coming on out, you can't just fake out this Salazzle. And now the Salazzle is threatening a massive Sludge Bomb. Steela does start to heal up a little bit. But it needs to be doubled up this turn, so I think the Steela needs to wake up, or else a Sludge Bomb is going to end this game. It's got one turn of Trick Room, but it's also preserved its Focus Sash so well this game. If he gets a Sludge Bomb off, he's going to be in a commanding position with this Magnezone in this end game. Celesteela needs to wake up and Heavy Slam the Salazzle, and we need to see a Max Quake into the Salazzle. It is the only play here. Because this Sludge Bomb should be enough to take out this Bulu. He's going for a Max Guard? No, he should go for the Steel Spike into the Celesteela. Oh, he goes into the Tapu Bulu? If this Celesteela wakes up, this is not going to be good. But if Celesteela comes back, this is not going to be looking good for El Flamingo, except the Rotom comes on out and giving it a special defense boost. Is the special defense boost on the Rotom going to be enough here late game? I don't know the answer, because this Max Quake is going to take it down to Sash, but then this Salazzle is going to kill with this Sludge Bomb. Is this Rotom with +1 special defense going to be enough? Because the Celesteela will have to burn, it has burned one turn of sleep, so it could wake up this next turn. 50% chance it wakes up this next turn. But Trick Room has ended. Salazzle is now the fastest thing on the field, but Liepard is also in the back and has access to a Fake Out that can just put pressure on the Salazzle, but cycling the Salazzle out to get Fake Out of his zone would also make a lot of sense here. I think that a Mudsdale switch You have to call a Mudsdale switch here. I think you have to call a Mudsdale switch. If the Slippard has fake tears, you fake tears and overheat that Magnezone, and you call this Mudsdale switch. You cannot fake out into the Salazzle here, as tempting as it is to do so. A Max Guard would work as well, but it would leave you in the same position with one less turn of Max. If you have Fake Tears Overheat, you go for it into this Magnezone every time. But let's see if El Flamingo went for the cheeky fake out kill, which will let this Mudsdale set up. Which it will only really affect heavy slam damage from the Celesteela. He did go for the fake out kill. No, this Mudsdale it gets a crit, which does a little bit of damage, but you do get a stamina boost, which is going to mean that this Celesteela is only going to be able to kill it through... He doubled the slot? That's not... Oh no. Oh no, this Magnezone's going to be alive and threatening the Celesteela this next turn. He needed to go for the Magnezone. That crit did not matter. I think Chaos Knight Rider has pulled victory from the jaws of defeat. He's looking like he is in very solid position to close up this game. This Celesteela is not ever going to be safe, and it is at such low health already. I don't really see what El Flamingo has for this late game at this point. A Rock Slide and a Thunderbolt just seems super clean. Maybe this Rotom can get a crit on the Mudsdale and flinch it out of the game, but this is looking like it's going to be Chaos Knight Rider advancing as our third semifinalist before the last match of the round of 6, which will be after this one. He's just going to go for the ally switch. I feel like Thunderbolt in the Celesteela is very safe. This overheat shouldn't... Does it kill? The overheat does pick up the KO. With a crit. I don't know. That crit... Did that crit matter? Is El Flamingo back in it? He's got the Rotom at -2 now. How is... Oh, does he get a Leech Seed off? He does. If this Rock Slide doesn't kill... No, he's still in horrible position because the Salazzle comes out and just kills the Steela. And the Rock Slide does pick up the Steela. But we do see the weakness policy go up on the Rotom, returning it to neutral. He might still be in it, but the Steela goes down, and I don't think this Rotom's going to have enough for Mudsdale and Salazzle, because the Salazzle will get off one Sludge Bomb that's going to do a huge amount of damage. And with how bulky this Mudsdale is... He's got to kill this Salazzle first, and then he's got to just try to flinch down this Mudsdale, and I think that's the play. But yeah, you can just buy so many turns here. Although the Protect for the Fake Out, that's good. We see Protect on Rotom, so we know the Rotom is full set now. Okay, so Rotom's got to go for a Dark Pulse into this Salazzle, I believe. You can't call Protect on Salazzle because you've not seen it, and I don't even believe it has it. But you have to hope that this doesn't do that much damage and that you're going to be able to flinch down this Mudsdale. That's going to be the play. That does a lot of damage, and he gets the poison. There's no shot. The poison damage is going to outrace his flinch damage. And he just goes for the overheat into the Mudsdale, calling the Protect. He needed the crit there, and he didn't get it. He needed the crit and for that to actually be Protect. Rock Slide and poison damage is going to be enough to take this game. And it looks like El Flamingo will be advancing as our third semifinalist. But stick around because up next we've got me versus Tay, commented by El Flamingo. So thank you guys so much for watching, and stick around for our second round of 6 match before we find out who our semifinalists are. See ya.
Hey guys, El Flamingo here, your commentator for the PDPL. This week we have the Week 2 playoff match against Dan, aka Stout Gaming, and the owner of the league, and Tay. So, as we can see here, let's get this show on the road. So we can see he's got the White Herb Tornadus, the Life Orb Sylveon, Wide Lens Persian, Focus Sash Dust Newell, the Agua Berry Wishy Washy, and the Weakness Policy Metagross. And on Tay's side, we see the Kangaskhan Swampert, Togedemaru, the Arcanine, Spectria, and the Tangela. So I have got Showdown up here so I can keep notes as we go. Maybe I can't. Alright, so it looks like he's leading with the Metagross Tornadus lead. Sylveon in the back. Sylveon seems quite good here outside of the Togedemaru. And the Persian seems very nice into the Spectria in particular. So, good luck to Tay, good luck to Dan, and let's have a good game. Alright, trainer cards. Both are fantastic. 10 out of 10 for both of you. Good trainer cards. Alright, so we know Dan's leading the Torn Metagross, and we have the Kangaskhan and Arcanine lead. And I have a feeling this might be beat up Kangaskhan onto a justified Arcanine. This would be absolutely nutty. So quite possibly a Scarf Kangaskhan. So he's doubling into the Kangaskhan slot. Not seeing the Intimidate proc there kind of makes me think this is going to be justified, which is a really good lead for Tay. But let's keep watching. So he's maxing the Torn here. You've got to suspect that it is a Defiant Tornadus, because we saw it had those physical moves on it. And we are going big Arcanine. So I don't think Tay has used beat up into Justified Arcanine all season. So if there's a game to do it, it's this one. So it's not a Scarf Kangaskhan, which means this Metagross is probably getting the KO here. And that is one dead Kangaskhan. Oh, and the big survive. Looks like that the Arcanine really needed those justified boosts to be able to get the KO there. But good job by Dan maxing the Tornadus and getting those speed boosts, rather than maxing the Metagross and trying to get off big damage straight away. Now, who has he got in the back? Togedemaru could be a bit problematic, but it does have the, here we go, does have the fighting coverage on the Tornadus. Fake Out could be coming into this Metagross here. Are we just going to go for more Airstream boosts? I think you kind of got to try and get this Togedemaru out, because a Nuzzle will not be nice at all. So Dan's thinking, max Airstream, into Togi, Break a Sash, going for the Arcanine, and Protect. Little bit risky, because Maximove will just go through Protect. So good read there by Tay on that protect. Assuming a big nuzzle's going to come out now into this Tornadus. Zingzap. Okay. And Max Flare into the good read there. Good job by Tay reading that protect on the Metagross. Just goes to show you do not have to click Fake Out just because you have the option. Now it's a bit rough position here because you really want to click Earthquake with that Metagross, but there's nothing it can click Earthquake next to without it having to protect. So a big Fake Out here, that would be nice. He's going to fire up the Earthquake anyway. This is fair because Persian does have that Fur Coat ability. So it's going to mitigate that damage coming out of the Metagross. But it's still not going to be nice into this... not going to be nice into the Persian. And a Protect here would be even more annoying for Dan. And he does go the Spiky Shield. Correct play. But hopefully this picks up the Arcanine for Dan. Stopping Tension would be really nice there. And Sugarberry on the Arcanine. Geez, Tay really has... And he got a crit on his own Persian. Oh. Max Strike seems correct there. Now, what was a good position for Dan is starting to look not so good. That speed drop there is very rough for Dan. And then he's got Sylveon in the back. Now, Sylveon normally wants to click Hyper Voice, but there isn't. It's going to not be doing a whole lot of damage. Maybe Protect Icy Wind could be good here. Screech is all but useless. Taunt could be valuable to stop more of those Spiky Shields coming up. And Dan is carrying Protect. Good. Going for the attack. Big damage into the Sylveon, and it's an O-Code from the Togedemaru with the critical hit. Jeez. There's been a few critical hits this match, and this Flare Bear Blitz should still pick up the Persian, especially because of that sun. So what a first match. What I assume to be Justified Arcanine coming in there. Tay going the smart route, not going with Intimidate on his Arcanine. So let's see, what is Dan's adaptation to this going to be? Does he go the Trick Room route? Because what is Tay's sort of anti-Trick Room mode? So he didn't bring the Tangela or the Spectria. Like, really, it's just the Tangela that is stopping the I guess Tay's anti-Trick Room mode. So Trick Room could be the call here. Problem is, Fake Out isn't going to flinch that Kangaskhan. If it's in a focus, if it's Scrappy, then it will. But I don't think you would bring Scrappy into a Persian match. Especially when you've got Spectria to take out the Dusknoir. So, if he leads Persian, he's not going to be able to fake out anything. And I guess Dusknoir has the Focus Sash, and no matter how much attack boost the Arcanine gets, it's still going to be able to set up Trick Room. What's that Wishy-Washy going to be able to do in Trick Room once the sun's up? That is the other thing. But I think Wishy-Washy could put in work in the Trick Room, especially if it's a special variant, just because of that Tangler. It's going to get absolutely nuked by say an Ice Beam rather than a max move off a Bug Attack. So he's going with the same 4, just bringing the Persian out earlier. This probably looks like a job for Screech into whatever chosen Pokemon Dan desires. And get those speed boosts again. Those speed boosts were very important. Does he want to stop the Kangaskhan beat up? That would be my priority. Is I would want to stop this Kangaskhan. Yep. Good call, Dan. And then you Screech it. I think that is the correct call. Trying to get the OHKO on this Kangaskhan, super important. We are just assuming that it is beat up Kangaskhan, but it seems highly likely. But gonna get that speed boost onto the Persian, which could be nice. Still probably gonna get faked out next turn. Does Dan want to bring in the Sylveon to get some speed boost? Because that seems really nice late game. And Kangaskhan with the Protect. So how does Dan handle it this next turn? Does he want to try and pick up the KO on the Kangaskhan, or is he going to take out this Togedemaru? And Icy Wind does seem like the correct play. Especially since Dan hasn't got the Protect. But you've got to think that Togedemaru doesn't go for the Fake Out. This might be a good night, Sweet Prince, to our little Togedemaru. And big Max Kanuku coming out. And that is one dead Togedemaru. So Dan in a good position again, but he was in a good position in the last game, but Tay finished out really strong. Do we get hacks? We don't get hacks. I want to see him completely unbiased, but it's good to not see hacks. Alright, so where does Tay go from here? Depending on who he brings out, you could see Togedemaru as a potential Sash user, or even the Spectrier. So this Icy Wind still seems like a good option for Dan. And it's the Tangela. And we have a shiny Tangela. Personally, I would be looking to Airstream probably into the Kangaskhan. That way, kind of keeps Tay honest and firing off an Icy Wind. Interesting. The other thing is, this Tangela does not have to be Eviolite. It could very well be the Focus Sash user. does the King protect, and Tangela goes for a Sleep Powder, just a double protect. Not a bad choice there by Tay. But now this kind of leaves Tay in a very rough position. He now doesn't have a lot of offensive pressure on the board, and we have a very fast and very strong Tornadus out here. It's a bit unfortunate. We know the Tornadus has acrobatics, and it hasn't used that white herb yet. Hopefully for Dan's sake, we see that Max Strike come out from the Arcanine at some point. And Ironhead onto the... Is that going to be enough to get the KO? Should have doubled in, because now we're going to see a big Sleep Powder coming into anything. Body Slam. And Sleep Powder. Alright, so what's Dan going to target down here? You think, do you want to take out Tay's potential beat-up option in the Kangaskhan? And try and waste a turn of sleep on this Metagross? So switching in the Persian, switching in the Sylveon, thinking. Safety Goggles looks good right about now on a Pokemon. Rage Powder seems correct. And Torn getting another KO, and most likely Body Slam going to pick up this Tornadus. So it leaves Sylveon now. Is Dan going to have enough left in him to be able to take out this Kangaskhan and this Arcanine? That seems a correct play from Dan. Tort's not offering a lot. You've got to assume that the Arcanine's going to max, so Fake Out doesn't offer a lot. Screech also doesn't offer a lot since the Sylveon is special. So that kind of leaves Icy Wind. Has Dan got enough speed on this Sylveon to outspeed a -1 Arcanine? I do not remember from the first match if this calc came up or not. Alright, so Tay has managed to stall out Dan's max. Dan still has 3 Pokemon left, and there's 3 turns of max, so these could be big turns for Tay. And Kangaskhan uses Protect, so it's looking a bit rough now for Dan. You've got to assume that he's either going to go for a KO or a speed drop. So Sylveon has got enough speed to outspeed the Arcanine and Kangaskhan. And just going for the Max Flare. And Sylveon manages to live, so this is a big turn. Icy Wind Hyper Voice. Get rid of this Kangaskhan. Double protect doesn't get it. Icy Wind giving Dan that speed control again. Can say good night, sweet prince, to the Kangaskhan. But this Arcanine is still doing a lot of work. There's not much that this Persian's going to be doing to... Well, that's still big damage off a physical Arcanine. Okay, so he's got a sleeping Metagross that has expended exactly 0 turns. So this could be a straight knockout for the Arcanine here. Metagross still has to have at least that 1 turn of sleep. And what is this Arcanine, this Persian, going to be doing this Arcanine? And Metagross is asleep. So I think that probably seals it up for Tay. What a great set. Justified Arcanine. Hadn't brought it all season, or not that I could remember. Busted out here. And that's an OK on the Metagross. I think the biggest problem with Dan's matchup is he didn't bring Heatmor. And I am severely disappointed in you, Dan. You did not bring Heatmor. So I don't think there is a way for Dan to get out of this. I think even a million crits from Icy Wind, is not doing anything. And this Flare Blitz should pick up the Persian in the sun. So that is a 1-0 win to Tay there. So good matches, Tay and Dan. Good luck to Tay. In next week, I believe you are playing... I'm not sure who you're playing. Is it Otto? You're playing Otto. So good luck to Tay against Otto, and good job, Dan. And thank you, Dan, for putting this together. This has been a fantastic season. Great first season of the PDPL. I look forward to seeing what the PCDL, whatever it's called, how that goes this season. And I look forward to coming back to you guys in Season 2. Have a good one.